Think your data is safe just because it's being hashed? Think again. Today we're hacking into Grandma's website to show how MD5 hashing works and frankly why you shouldn't use it. Quick crash course, MD5 is a hash function that takes an input and spits out a 32-character hexadecimal. It's supposed to be a unique fingerprint of the input, except, well, it's not. Let's break it down. A hash function is supposed to have three key properties: determinism, speed, and uniqueness. Determinism means that the same input always produces the same output. Speed means it runs quickly on data, and uniqueness, well, MD5 fumbles the bag on this one. In 1991, amongst other things happening in the world, this guy created the MD5 hash while working at some university. You might have heard of it, MIT. At the time, cybersecurity was not a very developed concept, and the computers had barely enough RAM to run a calculator app. A good hashing algorithm should make it computationally impossible to find two inputs with the same hash. But MD5's 128-bit output space just isn't large enough to prevent that. Combine that with modern computing power, and input collisions are easier to generate than stealing candy from a child. Or, in this case, cookies from a grandma. First up, we land on a page with three buttons: log in, log out, and the holy grail, Grandma's Pantry. When we click on it, we get no access, you're not grandma. Step 1, check the cookies. Press F12 to open DevTools. In storage, we see two values: role, the kitchen helper, and checksum, a random-looking MD5 hash. Step 2, what if we just become grandma? Let's change our role to grandma and refresh. Nope, still locked. Clearly, the checksum is the gatekeeper here. But how does it work? Step 3, let's try maybe decrypting the hash. We don't get a result, and that's because MD5 isn't encryption, it's hashing. Which means you can turn an input into gibberish, but you can't reverse that process. What you can do is compare gibberish with other gibberish. There's no direct decryption algorithm. Step 4, let's try hashing the word grandma and swapping it into the checksum. We can do that with an online tool and access granted, flag secured. Moral of the story, if you ever see a hash being used in authenticating a specific user, chances are it can be bypassed. Next up, let's talk about MD5 collisions. We mentioned that two different inputs can produce the same MD5 hash. Let's do this in action with another CTF challenge. This is a popular challenge from PicoCTF called It's My Birthday. The page gives us an upload form and wants us to submit two PDF files. Let's try a simple test uploading a .txt file. It wants PDFs. We rename the extension to .pdf. It wants two different files. We make two different PDFs. Now it says their MD5 hashes don't match. So they want two different files that produce the same MD5 hash. Luckily, there are websites that have extensive research on MD5 collisions. One of them even provides pre-made colliding exe files. Let's grab those, rename them to PDF, and upload. And just like that, we get the source code, inside of which is the flag. This is why MD5 is considered completely broken. It's so weak that even file integrity checks can be bypassed if an attacker has control over the input. So where do we still see MD5s? Well, primarily in older software and legacy systems. And if you're working in security or just playing CTFs, spotting MD5 should immediately raise red flags. For instance, in real-world attacks, MD5 collisions have been used to forge SSL certificates, to make it seem like websites are legit when in reality, they were running a scam operation. If it's not already clear, MD5 should never be used for anything security related. Furthermore, in modern security, it is the best practice to not treat any kind of hashing, including SHA-256, as methods of preventing data leaks. What they are used for is checking integrity of a file to make sure it has not been tampered with while going from point A to point B. If you're ever in a CTF and you see an MD5 hash in play, chances are there are ways to break it. Thank you for watching.